Okay, we're about to record.
Y'all can bust y'all out. Y'all make moves. Y'all know I do it. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Y'all can do better than that. Say it with your chest. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Everybody here. You know, we're giving all that good shalomness to everyone this evening. And to the 12 tribes strong, and the stranger grafted one in among us. I greet you in the Master's name of Yehoshua HaMashiach. Without further ado, we'll do a quick word of prayer, and we'll get into this thing, and then we'll do what we do afterwards. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for another day. We thank you for another Shabbat. We pray that as we hear this message, it will show us things that you're telling us, Father, and that we will be able to do the things you call for us to do. Father, we pray over this message. We pray over your people, Father. Again, we ask you to forgive us, Israel, and the whole nation, Father, for being disobedient to you and your word. And Father, we ask you that you would strengthen us as we are starting to wake up and come back to you, Father. We also pray for the grafted one in among us, Father, that they will be able to have rest through your word as well. Father, we pray you continue to be with us and keep us. In your set apart name, we pray and give thanks. It is so, it is so, it is so. Don't get all quiet on me now. I'm about to get into it. Coming out of the 23rd Tehillim, or you know it in King Jimmy Land Psalms. 23rd Psalm, just 6 verses. So I'm going to read it and you read it with me. And you should be there.
23?
Yep, 23. And then when you get there, say read. Find it in the book. And if you're not there already, you know what you need to say. Somebody ain't there. I need to hear Torah study. Don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed. There's some more raising pastors that will still be looking, going all the way to the back of the book and then trying to find it. All right, we ready? Ain't nobody said read.
Read.
All right, there we go. And it reads, Yahweh is my shepherd. I do not lack. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He turns back my being. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. When I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You spread me before a table in the face of my enemies. You have anointed my head with oil. My cup runs over. Only goodness and loving commitment follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of Yahweh to the length of days. You may be seated. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And the title of the message this Shabbat evening is simple. We're just calling it Tables. Tables. I'm going to give y'all a definition of a table. Y'all know what it is, but I'm going to give it to you anyways. Table is defined as a piece of furniture with one or more legs, providing a level service used for eating, writing, working, playing games. It's also a set of facts or figures systematically displayed. It can also mean postpone, like I'm tabling something. Present for discussion or consideration, putting it on the table. Meeting place, and it can also mean a group. Now we're going to use the Hebrew word. You know we love our Hebrew words. Hebrew word, first one is shulchan. It's spelled S-H-U-L-C-H-A-N. S-H-U-L-C-H-A-N. You're getting the Hebrew word first thing. Shulchan. And it's number 7979 in Strong's. Again, I told you if you can get you an ancient Hebrew lexicon, get one as well. And what that means is table. Tables, each table. Also, table as spread out for a meal. Again, that is table. Tables or each tables as spread out for a meal. Y'all got it? And when we're looking at table, while you're writing that down, the first tables that were used weren't what we know today. The first tables that were used were actually made of skin or leather. It was a skin or leather mat that was put on the floor. Y'all ever seen those depictions or pictures where they have like whole bunch of people on different pillows that they sat down on pillows, and they had this mat or this skin, and they put the food down. That basically was their first table. It was just a mat. Keep it off the ground, keep the dust off your food, and what everybody basically was around there dipping their food. Nobody had their own separate plates. Everybody shared. It was communal. And they ate there, they talked there, they discussed things there, they played there, they did all those different things. And what the table brings everybody together. You look at in your house, anytime it's mealtime, what? We always put the food where? On the table. And then everybody comes around the table. And what do? We eat, we start laughing, joking, we do all these different things. What has the system decided to do? How do they take the table away? By giving you the TV. By giving you smart devices. So now the table becomes your tablet. And we're going to get into that a little bit further along as well. Now, the spread out portion of shulchan comes from the word shalach. S-H-A-L-A-C-H. We're going to get into the meat of it in a minute, but we got to get some words and definitions so we get an understanding of what we're about to go into. Shalach, S-H-A-L-A-C-H. And that Strong's number is 7971. 7971. And what that means is to cast off, delivered, burn, quiet children, let go, dismissed. It also means divorce, drive away, escort, forsake. I'm not going to give you all of them because there's a whole bunch of them. And the last one I want to give you is cast away. You got them? You need me to go over anymore? You good? Mm-hmm. All right, everybody in live land, I hope y'all good. You can always go back to looking at it if not. So when you think about shalach, and we're talking about the table, what do we say? When I'm getting the table ready, I got my spread. I spread everything out. Let me lay down my spread. I mean, let me put everything that I have down so that you can receive of it. Mm-hmm. Usually if you have a big size table, you're going to end up stretching yourself out trying to put everything on it, decorate it, and then put the food, the plates, and everything like that. So there's a stretching. But we also see in the negative connotation that it also means to drive away. So also when I'm stretching you, you ever been told, I'm stretched thin, I'm stretched thin, mm-hmm. I can't go any further, I'm going to be broke. I'm being driven out, I'm being thrown or cast away. And what is one of the things that the Father did to us because we wouldn't sit at his table that he prepared for us? He cast us away. He spread us out. What do you think when he said, I will scatter you, will be scattered and dispersed? That's stretching out, right? Mm-hmm. That's casting away. That's also forsaking. All right, next Hebrew word is luach. L-U-A-C-H. Luach. L-U-A-C-H. Strong's number is 3871. 3871. And now here we go talking about the tablet. Because that's what it means. It means tablet. It means board. As in a board. B-O-A-R-D. Plank. It also means table of wood, metal, or stone. So it's a tablet, it's a board, a plank, it's a table that's made out of wood, metal, or stone. And when you think about a tablet, it was something that came to my mind while I was doing this. Is think of it like, those food trays we have mm-hmm. with the legs on them, and you can just open it up. Think of your tablet like that. The tablet is just a little food tray table. Because a food tray is what? Just a little table. Tablet. What do we carry around with us besides our smartphones? Everybody got tablets now, iPads. And then also when you look at the tablet, the first tablet was what? The 10 Commandments. Or the 2 tablets of witness, it was called. So that was the very first tablet. Mm-hmm. And you could scroll down on that too with your finger, because it was engraved in there. And the same thing is, if you drop it, come on, Moshe, it'll break. Yeah. It'll crack. Same thing that happened if you drop your tablet today. that they have.
Yes.
I know something about that. I know something about dropping a smartphone too. But you look again, the first tablet or first dinner tray, we'll call it, was the 10 Commandments, the 2 tablets of witness. And what was that? Because again, we see that a table is what? A table is a place for food. A table is a place for people to come together to talk, to communicate, to do business, to play games. And so when you're looking at that tablet, Yah said, I want you to have a tray table to take with you. Because I want to meet with you. Every time you look at these commandments, I'm meeting with you. Every time you sit down at that tablet, aka little small tray table, you're supping with me. You're communing with me. We're doing business. We're talking. You're talking to me. Because when you're doing what it says, aren't you talking to him? Yes. And once you do what he says, ain't he going to talk back to you?
Yes.
When you don't, when you sit at the table but you don't eat, what happens? You starve. So what happens to a lot of us when we don't follow that little tablet, that tray table that he gave us, known as the 2 tablets of witness? We starve. And then he's still going to talk to us then too?
Yes.
With what? With punishment. We're losing things. So you see table. You see what we're about to get into it now. We see with the table. Now we want to talk about the table of the showbread, because the next thing that you see after he talked about the tablet with the 2 tablets of witness is the table of showbread. Now what is the table of showbread? The table of showbread is about 2 feet high. So you would still sit on the floor. They didn't have chairs like we have now to sit at a big table. It was still low. It was just higher than that mat that they first started eating off of as a table, but they still sat down. Everybody sat together. But the table of showbread was for the high priest and his sons, Aaron and his 4 sons. And what was on this table? The reason it was called the table of showbread was because there was 12 unleavened cakes. Showbread, which also means the bread of presence. That bread always stayed where? In his presence. It stayed behind the veil. Nobody was allowed to eat it because it was holy bread. And the bread stayed there for 7 days. It stayed there for a week. The priest, the high priest, and the other priests, his sons, they ate it every Shabbat. They ate the old bread, and they replenished it with fresh bread. Because again, he said, there will be what? Meat in my house. Let there always be bread here. And what is Bethlehem? What does it mean? House of bread. Because we know Bet is house. Ahem is bread. Where was the Mashiach from? Bethlehem. And what does the Mashiach call himself, among other different things? He's known as what? The bread of life. And when they say bread of heaven, feed me till I want no more, what did the Father allow them to have after they got out of Mitzrayim? And they was crying, we hungry, we starving. You gonna send us out here to kill us? He gave them quail and what? Manna. Which was what? Bread. It was sweet bread. Or like my dad and the people from the old days of the country like to call it hoe cakes. It was like a sweet, honey-dipped wafer. And if you look in the scripture, I ain't going to tell you where you look at it, is actually known as angel food too. So that means that they eat too. Didn't the angels eat, the messengers eat when they came to talk to Abraham, when they were about to go and tear up Sodom and Gomorrah? Didn't the Father sit down there and eat the food that Mother Sarah had made? So the thing is, they'll sup with us. Again, what's the whole thing about the table is what? To bring everybody what? Together to sup. So when the high priest Aaron and his sons was eating the showbread, what were they doing? They were supping in his presence. In Shemot, or Exodus, the 24th chapter, again we see that Moshe, Yehoshua, which is Joshua in English, the 70 elders, they did what? They ate. They ate and they drank with Yah. He allowed them to see him and they didn't die. Look it up. Exodus, Shemot, chapter 24, and see if I'm lying. But getting back to this table with showbread, what? It was made of gold. It was acacia wood, and then it was overlaid with gold. Who loved gold? What kind of people love gold the most? What kind of people is always getting gold, everything? We always got to be dipped and iced out. What do you think the ephod was? That joker was iced out. And so you look, the son said, don't, if you can't eat all 12 pieces of bread, burn the rest. Because what? It is holy bread. It is my bread, and I want you to sit with me and eat. I want you to sup with me. And the thing is, for those that say that what King Jimmy or people in organized religion call the Lord's Supper, we know it as the Mashiach Supper.
Yeah.
And they try to tell you that quote-unquote communion, what we call the Mashiach Supper, that it don't exist or it's wrong. You first see it dealing with the table of the showbread. Because what were they doing? The Father always shows us everything that's going to point to the Mashiach. There was 12 cakes to represent what? The 12 tribes. The 12 tribes was always before the Father's face. He never forgot us. And what does he want to do? He wants to sup with us. And the thing is, it's a family thing. It's a secret thing. That's why the only people that was around was the people that was closest to him. Who was the ones that got to sit with the Mashiach when he did his Passover on top of the Pesach, when he did the Mashiach supper? The 12 was represented again through his disciples. And who were they? They were the ones that was closest to him. If we look at it from our transliteration in modern times today, they was his boys.
Right.
His homies.
Right.
His dudes.
Right.
And what did he say? I've been waiting to fervently do this with you guys, because I ain't gonna do it again with you until what? The kingdom has been fulfilled. So what Aaron and his 4 sons were doing, and each one of them, because it was him and the 4 sons, they all had their own amount of cakes that they ate. And he said, I want to sup with you. Well, Yah said, and then again, it shows in the Mashiach, I again want to sup with you. Eat this bread. Because what? It represents who? Him. Drink out this cup. Instead of eat the cake, eat the bread. Disciples.
Right.
And what did he tell them? Do this in what? Yeah, 12 tribes. Eat tribes. Because what? We shunned him. We said, I don't want to sup with you. I don't want to eat at your table. How? Because we disobeyed the tablet, the tray table that we're supposed to bring with us. We betrayed that. We disobeyed that. And when you go into organized religion and you see that communion table, what's the thing? I don't know about y'all, but that's the first thing I always walk and look at when I walk into the sanctuary, is that table. I don't know why. But what does it say on the table? Do this in remembrance of me. And what did he say? Do this what? In remembrance of me as what? Often as you come together. Did the high priest and his sons, did they only eat it whenever they felt like doing it, or did they eat it only when Pesach came, or did they eat it every Shabbat? So if every Shabbat, everybody always came together with every Shabbat, right? And if they ate it every time they came together, and the Mashiach says every time you come together, that means what? Every time we congregate. That's the meal right there. We don't have to say, well, if nobody cooks food, there's a meal there, then we can't break bread. That's the other thing. What do we call it when we all sit at the table and sup together? We breaking bread.
Yeah, we break bread.
Nobody says that, but a specific people.
Yes. Yeah.
No, hey, come to my house, we're going to break bread.
Yeah.
And every time we get together, what do? Especially with us. We always got it. You looking crazy like, what's going on? There's something wrong when there ain't no food. Because we used to food.
Yes.
Especially here at Fortified. We was playing that one day, and we didn't get everything together, and we looking like, hold on, we got the bread from heaven with the word, but now I want some bread, some natural bread.
Yes.
And what do? After we sat at this table together to get the spiritual food, what do? We all congregate at the natural table. And do what? Eat. So are we saying the table is what? About us coming together as a group. About us eating together. About us doing business together. About us talking together. About us planning together. Because that's another thing that the table is used for, is making plans. You sit at the table to not just eat, but to write, to draw, to play games, to plan. Some of the ladies sit there and do crocheting at the table, do all different things at the table, because what? The table draws you to it, because where the table is, there's community. Again, what has the enemy done? The enemy has done everything they can to get you away from the table. They made sure they did that to Israel, to make sure we stay far away from the table. So again, just to debunk the whole thing about the Mashiach supper, every time you come together, What do you say? If 2 or 3 come together in my name, I'll be there. So what? I'm going to sup with you in the spirit. So Hebrew, don't sit up there and say, well, no, that's Christian. That's organized religion. No, that's script. And we go back to the original side. So you can't, if the book, well, we don't deal with the ones that's talking about the renewed covenant side ain't real. Because we can't have a conversation with somebody that only know half the conversation, right?
Right.
You can't talk to me if you don't know the full conversation.
Yes.
So I can't talk to you.
Absolutely.
Because you're not going to understand.
Right.
That's why people can't come to the table. Because they don't understand when you're saying food. Y'all ever, we'll say this real quick, we're going to get back to y'all, when food was ready, the person would only tell you maybe 1 or 2 times.
One time.
Food is done.
One time.
If you didn't hear it, you had a sibling like me, it was gone if you waited too long.
Yes. One time.
So the thing is, he said, if you hear my voice, harden not your heart. You better listen, because I'm saying, come to the table.
Yes.
While there's food, while there's room, while I'm accepting people. Because you're going to be feeling sad and feeling some kind of way when you get to the table and ain't nothing there.
Yes.
And everybody else is gone.
Yes.
And they looked and said, well, evidently you weren't hungry enough.
Right.
I'm fixing the food for y'all to eat, but I'm going to get mine. In this sermon, I don't know about you, but I'm going to get mine. I don't know about y'all, but I'm getting mine. Now let's look at this table a little bit further. Sitting at the wrong table, not appointed by Yah, will cause you to die. It will cause you death. And the scripture for that is 1 Kings, or Aleph Melech, chapter 13, verse 20. 1 Kings 13 and 20, and that's dealing with the young prophet of all places, our tribe, Yehuda. The father told him to say something, and he told him what to do and what not to do. An old prophet, Yah told me that you should come in my house when Yah said, don't go to nobody's house. Once you go to that city, say what I told you to say, get up through it. But he listened to somebody else. The guy said, come to my table. The old prophet said, come and sit at my table. Yah said that you can come. Yah wants you to be there. He sat at the table. As soon as he sat at the table to eat, the very person that told him what Yah said, finally Yah did tell him to tell him, you about to die, boy.
Yes.
Because I told you not to do it. You sat at the table that was not appointed by me. And that's what we need to hear. Anytime we sit at a table that's not appointed by him is death.
Death.
The wages of sin.
It's death.
And what is death? Transgression of what? The law. It's rebellion. It's what? Disobedience. Next thing dealing with tables. People will invite you to their table to kill you. 1 Samuel, or Aleph Shemuel, chapter 20, verses 29 through 34. Come on, David, when King Shaul was upset because everybody was singing your praises more than his, and he knew that the crown was given to you. So what he said, I'm going to kill him, but I'm going to kill him at the table. I'm going to kill him at dinner time because you know Negroes love to eat. The Israelites love to eat, and the king's meat is good too. I'm going to wait till he comes to the table. He's thinking that it's going to be all love, and I'm going to spear him through. But his son, Jonathan, told him, hey, Dad ain't feeling you, bro. He planning to do evil to you today. Don't come to the table. And Shaul got upset, didn't he? He said, he didn't come to my table. I appointed him to come to this table, and he wouldn't come. Where are he at? Y'all know the rest of the story. Y'all said, I told him not to come, and he's like, you idiot. You basically gave your seat at the table, meaning you're giving the kingdom over to him because who's supposed to reign when I die? But his son already knew that Yah had appointed David the VIP spot at the table. So again, what have I always told y'all? You can't eat at everybody's table. You can't eat everybody's food because there's people that want to poison you. Me and my wife, we know people that have been poisoned in what's considered churches and organized religion at them potlucks. There's people that had an evil eye towards you. And the best way to get the curse on you is to get it in you. And the best way for it to work is to get you to take it in yourself not knowing that you're taking it in.
Yes.
What did the enemy do? Back in the garden, got her and Adam to what? Take the curse in them by doing what? Eating. They sat at his table. The table of Yah said you can eat everything here except for that. I don't have a table placed over there for you. And what did the serpent say? No, no. Oh, but you can surely eat. You can always have a place at my table. Watch a person that say that the way they say, oh, you always got a place at my table. No. I'm good. I brought my food.
Right.
I'm not hungry.
Right.
People also will offer a seat at the table to care for you. 2 Samuel or Shemuel Bet, chapter 9, verses 7 through 13. 2 Samuel 9, 7 through 13, and that's dealing with Mephibosheth, Jonathan's son, the crippled son, the only one that was left of the whole house of Shaul. And King David, because he remembered his friend and said that I will always take care of anybody that's left out of the house of Shaul. They'll always have a seat at my table. And he took care of him, because also when somebody has a seat at your table, you're not just feeding them that one time. What you're saying is, I'm taking care of you. I'm what? Providing for you. And one of the things that Yah is called for is what? Our provider. Yeah. So if I'm telling you to sit at my table, that means that I have more than enough to what? Take care of you, to give you something. What we usually say, I might not have much, but I got enough to give you something. Because what? I don't want you to what? Be hungry. I don't want you starving. How can I say that you're with me and I'm not providing for your needs? So again, they will offer you a seat at the table to take care of you. Also, you're offered a seat at the table in a room in somebody's house. When you do good so much, somebody will make room for you in their house. Y'all think I'm lying to you? Okay. Write down 2 Kings chapter 4, verse 10. And while you're writing it down, I'm going to go there. If you write fast, and you go there with me. 2 Kings 4 and 10.
You write fast.
And that's what the prophet Elisha, or you know him as Elisha in King Jimmy transliteration. 2 Kings 4 and 10. When you have it there, read. All right, I'll go ahead and read.
Read.
There it is. Please let us make a small upper room on the wall, and let us put a bed for him there, and a table and a chair and a lampstand. And it shall be, whenever he comes to us, let him turn in there. This is the woman when he had got her a son. Prayed for a son. She got the son. Son died. Brought the son back to life. And so she said, this man has provided for us, so I want to provide a table. Not just a table, but I want you to make a room that wasn't even there on the wall. We're going to put a room on the wall. We're going to have a corner pocket spot with a table to let him know that what? We want to sup with him. We will provide for him. We want to be able to talk to him and him to be able to have a place to talk with us. And not only will we give him a table, but what else we going to do? The wife said, we're going to give him a menorah. Because that's what the lampstand was a menorah. And what is a menorah? Light. We are also what? Walking menorahs. So I want him to be able to see what I'm providing. Now, how many of us, when somebody's doing so good to us, that we going to say, you know what? We don't have any other rooms. We're going to make a room for you. I'm going to construct. And that also goes to show that the husband ain't got to be all domineering and stuff like that. Because what? The wife said, honey, we need to do this. And he knew what the man of Yah had done for them. Right. So did he argue with a woman who you think you talking to? You trying to run this? No, he didn't. No. He said, if it is good in your, do it. You go ahead and do it. We'll get it done because this person is done for us. And when people see that, you don't have to go and quote Malachi chapter 3 to them. We don't have to tell people all the time that don't muzzle an ox to tread the corn. You doing the work, the right people going to see you and what? They're going to do what? Provide a seat for you at their table because you did what? You provided for them. So when we provide, Yah gives provision for us. Don't just look to just sit at somebody's table just because. Right. Title don't get you at my table. Next thing, the enemy will be ensnared by their own table. When they try to do things to harm you, they get ensnared in their own table. They basically booby trap their own table without knowing it. And that's in Psalms or Tehillim 69, verse 22. And then on the renewed covenant side, look at that. Is it saying the same thing over on that side? But I thought that side was wrong. Romans 11 and 9. And the basically was King Dewey's words again. My enemy's going to be ensnared in their own table. Tehillim or Psalm 69, 22 and Romans 11 and 9. Y'all know I love to give y'all scriptures. Next scripture dealing with table, because we really need to get this. I told y'all stick with me. Y'all on TV Land, you stick with me too. See if I can give you a little something of what I know. Don't know everything, but I know enough. Yah showed his kindness to a rebellious Yisrael. We always rebelling, ain't we? When they questioned if he could prepare a table in the wilderness for them. Don't that sound like us? Mm-hmm. You showed us with the 10 plagues that you put on our oppressors. Mm-hmm. We done walked through water. We had the pillar of smoke. And we had the pillar of fire that's directing and protecting us. And now we're going to sit up here and act like big old goofies. Are you going to prepare it? And you hear the sarcasm in it. Stupid goofy is what the goofy is. Yeah, stupid goofy. Y'all going to learn some stuff today. You stick with your mores. It's moreisms. Okay. But the thing is, you see the sarcasm that they have. Ain't that us? Yeah. Okay, we going to prepare a table for me out in the wilderness? Like Hebrew, if I brought you out here, right, I ain't going to bring you out here to die because my name is on the line. Mm-hmm. What do you say? What did Moshe say? Please, Father, when the Father's like, I'm done with them, I'm going to wipe all of them out. He's like, but then our enemies will say that you just killed all of them because you didn't have the power to take care of them when you brought them out of here. You didn't think this through. And what did the Father do? Even in our sarcastic ignorance, he still provided for us. And you see that in Tehillim or Psalm 78, 19. Let's go there. Yisrael always doing some, or like my wife like to say, doing the fool. Climbing that fool's hill and sliding down. Tehillim, Psalm 78, 19, and it reads, and they spoke against Elohim. No, they didn't. They said, is El able to set a table in the wilderness? Mm. Now, what would you do if your child was talking smack like that to you and you heard them? They doing all this, they taking care of all my needs and everything, but are they able to do this? I'm hungry right now and we have some show. Is Mama able to provide a piece of chicken while we're here? And what did he do? He still provided because what did he give them? Quail and manna. Quail and manna. And they ate manna for 40 years. Mm. You're going to provide for somebody 40 years, even though you're waiting until the old guard die out because they were so rebellious, but you still fed them. 40 years. The same people that said, oh, is he going to be able to give me something to eat out here? Just think about that. 40 years, he said, I'm still going to eat with you. I'm still supping with you. I'm still going to provide. You still got a seat at my table, even though you acting up. Mm-hmm. Y'all better be praising y'all for that. Because even in our captivity, he still gives us a seat at his table. Well, that's why people can sing that old song, Save a Seat for Me. I want to be able to sit at the table. That's one of them old guard songs. You know, if you heard it, you'll know it. You was in organized religion long enough to hear that song. Notice I didn't say hear, I said heard that song. Also, we look at tables. There was a conspiracy against Yisrael. Oh, glory. Not Yisrael. Nobody would want to conspire against us, would they? Well, let's look at what Psalm and Tehillim 83 and 3 says. Y'all know what it said. They conspired. They made confederate against them and said what? Let us wipe them off, cut them off. So the name of Yisrael will no more be spoken, will be not known anymore. Let's go. 83 and 3. They craftily, or King Jimmy said they did crafty counsel. They plotted. Mm-hmm. And so you plotting on me, boy? Mm-hmm. They craftily plot against your people and conspire against your treasure ones, or King Jimmy says hidden ones. And in order to make those plans, they had to do what? Be at a table. Planning. Plotting. working, games, different things, devices against who? Us. Because again, we chose not to sit at Yah's table anymore. And what did I say at first? When you don't sit at the table that's appointed by Yah, you bring what upon yourself? Death. Ain't it good? I don't care if it's good to y'all, it's good to me. Next thing, Yah hiding Israel from the enemies who plot while they're in the enemy's presence. So here we already know they plotting on us. But now it says, Yah said, I'm going to hide you. Why are they plotting? I'm going to hide you in their presence. I'm going to put you right in front of them.
And they don't even see.
Why are they plotting on you? And that's Psalms 31, 19 through 20. Psalm 31, 19 through 20. Let's go there real quick. How great is your goodness? There it is, which you have laid up for those fearing you, which you have prepared for those taking refuge in you, in the sight of the sons of men. In the secrecy of your presence, you shall hide them from the plots of man. You shelter them in a booth from the strife of tongues. I'm putting you in the presence. You got a table, a VIP table, in the presence of your enemies. They plotting on you, and I'm hiding you in front of them in plain sight. And then you go back to the verse in our focal scripture in Tehillim 23, when he said in verse 5, you spread before me, or in King Jimmy, thou prepared a place for me, a table for me in the presence of my enemies. Do you see it again? He's like, I'm going to put you right in your enemy's place, right in their presence. And you don't have to sit at their table. I'm giving you the VIP seating. I'm making a table specifically for what? For you. And when it's talking about in the presence, I'm getting a little ahead of myself right now, but it's getting good to me. When it's talking about in the presence, it's basically saying you're going to be across from them, on the opposite side of them. And it also means you're going to be in front of them. So that shows that we were the tail, because he said in the blessings and the curses, because we was going to do wrong, instead of being the head, we what? Became the tail. But now he said, I'm going to put you in front. And everybody know the front table is usually the best table, right? It's the most prestigious table because what? Everybody can see you. Everybody has always been able to see Israel, even in our captivity. Whose face, whose image is all over the whole entire world? I'll tell you, ours. Because I've gone almost all over this whole entire world. Wearing a monkey suit because I was in the military. That's what we call it, the monkey suit.
Wow.
But basically, I got to see the world. I'm like, wow, this Israel. I see our image everywhere.
Everywhere.
I'm like, it's kind of weird. For somebody that's so low, everybody talking about you.
Right.
Whether they saying good or they saying bad.
Trying to be like
the fact of the matter is something that's so low, people can't keep your name out their mouth. Something that's inferior, I don't get to talk about it, do I?
Right.
We don't walk around talking about ants, do we? Because to us, ants don't matter. We step on ants. But for some reason, you just can't keep Yisrael, a.k.a. the Negro, out your mouth. Why? Because he's put a table for it. He's setting it for us. We haven't been able to get into it yet and sit at it yet. But what? He's preparing it, and we're looking, prophecies being fulfilled. They know that he's setting it up. They hear them chairs getting, y'all know when somebody start pulling chairs up to the table? They hear the chairs being pulled up to the table. They hear, they smell the scent of the food being cooked and prepared for us. They see the menorahs being brought out to be put at the table. They see the reserved for Yisrael sign on it, so they know they can't sit at it. Why do you think they're mad? Why do you think they keep on purging and doing these other different things? And he said, what? I'm setting this, and I'm going to set this table right across from your enemies. The very ones that wouldn't let you sit at their table. Don't worry about it. I got a table that's specially formulated and pH balanced just for you.
All right.
We are told to write his word, his mercy and his truth on the tablets of our hearts. We're going to talk about the tablet again. What's that tablet? The luach, the loach. And what is that? The tray table that you carry with you? So when you have his word hidden in your heart, you always carrying that tray. So you always saying, I'm able to sit with you. I can meditate on your word day and night at the table. I'm reading where? At the table. So when you have your tablet You can just sit down with him anytime. That's why I told y'all I would be at work everywhere, and I'm talking to him because I had his word written on the tablet of my heart. So I'm having conversations with him. He's sitting across from me on my heart table. And we're talking, we're supping, we're planning together. He tells you the plans that he has for you when you sit with him and talk to him. He's looking for somebody right now to spend some QT time with him. Talking about some, I want you to start writing. I want you to start doing this. Why? Because what it really is, I just want you to sit at the table and talk to me. And when we actually sit at that table and start talking, that's when he starts saying all the plans that I have for you. This is what that's when you can all start hearing him warning you. The warnings that y'all started getting for the prophets in this community. Right. Y'all start getting, he's giving warnings, and everybody's getting the same thing because we all spend our personal time with him at our tables. If you don't sit at the table, you ain't going to hear the warnings. That's why a whole bunch of people ain't planning.
Right.
That's why a whole bunch of people, they're going to get shook when them stores close. When the trouble comes and the store is going to be cleaned out in an hour, they said. It'll take an hour to clean all the stores out. Mm-hmm. People ain't going to know what to do. Why? Because they didn't sit at the table and listen to the plans. Didn't listen to what he had for them. They didn't consider his ways. And you see that in Proverbs, Mishle, chapter 3, verse 3, and 7, verse 3. Write it on the tablet of your heart. Right, wisdom. Wisdom also got a table, y'all. Mm-hmm. And wisdom in this scripture is being given the feminine connotation. What it's saying, wisdom said at her table. Y'all know women, they can lay out some tables. We'll just put I'm just going to throw a hunk of meat on this plate and just put it on the table, stuff like that. But women, y'all get the napkins, y'all get all those other different things that I ain't even going to try to name because I'm going to know I'm a butcher and y'all going to laugh at me. But y'all put y'all's touch on it. And when we actually sit it, it makes us feel better. It makes it feel a little bit more complete because I would never have thought of that. And what does wisdom do? Wisdom gives you stuff that you never would have thought of. Mm-hmm. When you sit, so it says, sit at her table. She arranges. She sets a table for those that seek her. And that's in what? Proverbs, Mishle, chapter 9, verse 2. So what are y'all saying? Sit at wisdom table. Sit at the table. What do you say? Learn of me. For my yoke is easy. My burden is light.
It's light.
Well, sit at my table.
Come on.
Why you ain't sitting with me? You sitting over there by yourself.
Well, the table is spread.
You could be sitting here. Who want to see you got that little brown bag of lunch? And he's like, man, I got a whole spread.
Right.
Everything. I even got dessert.
A prideful person. Oh.
Exactly. But no, you go ahead. We're going to do this thing together. You're going to preach it with me. A person that's in pride, a person that's in rebellion, a person that's in disobedience, a person that think they know everything. Mm-hmm. A person that say, hey, don't take all that.
Yeah, right.
While I'm sitting over here eating my spiritual cheesecake and you eating that peanut butter and jelly sandwich, remember?
That paper brown bag.
Stay on over there. Don't take all that. I won't be where you at.
Right.
Next thing we'll table, the Gentile woman was looking for bread / Yehoshua HaMashiach to sustain her daughter, the one that needed what we all know very well here, deliverance.
Yeah.
And remember what he told her? It ain't for me to give the kids bread to the little dog. Oh, Mashiach said that. What? Mashiach was prejudiced? Oh my God. No, because he loves everybody. He died for everybody. No. He said, it ain't for me to give you the children's bread. And not just to give it you, but no, the little dogs. But what did she say? Oh, master, that was cute. But even the dogs get the crumbs from the master's table. And he looked at her and said, what the what?
Yeah. Yes.
Woman, I ain't found such greater faith, and you know what I'm saying, I like to say, in all of Yisrael. And the thing is, the person that didn't have a seat at the table, the person that was willing to be called a little dog,
yes,
said, I'm so hungry, I ain't swayed by that. Because I'm still going to eat something.
Yes.
If I get some scraps,
yes,
I ain't going home hungry.
Right.
Them some good scraps.
Yes.
What do? We learn from people that work in food services. What do they do? Me and my wife, we was laughing. It was funny, but it wasn't funny. When we was on vacation, and there's this lady just hovering around the breakfast bar. And like, we trying to enjoy our food. It's like, well, she's like, well, you better hurry up and get what you're going to get to that woman. And every time we go there, the woman was scowling. And then she told me it's because the lady was looking she was looking to see how much she would be able to take home for herself.
Wow.
I don't know if she's going to feed Pookie and Ray Ray and them or what, but she was scowling every time we went to get something to eat because she's like, that's more that they taking away from me that I can't take home.
Right.
And so the thing is, you know, somebody's going to be scowling when you're like, I want to eat. And the thing is, she hurried up and took the remainder of that food 2 minutes before the time. Wasn't it about 2 minutes before the time? It was. And she did it way before the time that she's supposed to let it go. She already moving stuff. Because she's like, I want this. I'm going to eat. And so that woman said, I'm going to eat. You called yourself the bread, so I'm coming to you. I'm going to sit at your table. And the thing is, a lot of Israel is going to go to hell because we choose not to sit at his table. A woman that we would have looked down on and said, you Gentile, because you know there's the fringe group, the rebellious group of us, that everybody going to hell except for us. The ones that ain't going to hell are going to be our slaves. Show me the scripture where it said that. It said Yehuda's going to sell the sons and daughters of the ones that enslaved us. We're going to sell them to the Sabians. And everybody always wonder who the Sabians were. The Sabians is drunkards. Look it up. The Hebrew word, I can't think of the Hebrew word right now for how it's actually pronounced and spelled, but the definition of it is drunkards. And remember what the scripture said, that you have sold a boy for wine. Or you know, you sold a boy for a harlot and a girl for wine. How many of our boys were sold? So a man could get him some from a harlot, or our boys were sold as harlots to somebody. How many of our daughters were given for wine? We reap what we sold. You put that on the table for us. So now you get to sit at the table, we get to give it to you. But it didn't say that we're going to enslave them and they going to do all the other stuff that they did to us. No, we're just going to sell them to some drunkards. And anybody that knows drunkards, you don't want to be under no drunkard's care.
No, that's right.
you don't want to be under drunkard's care. But again, back to this woman, she said what? The dogs ate the crumbs. And what is that also showing? That's showing that the grafted in ones, the Gentiles that believe, they still get what? To eat from the table. Did everybody that came out of Mitzvah the first time, was it just all Israelites? Because the scripture, unless I read it wrong, the scripture also said a mixed multitude came out with them. So if it's a mixed multitude, that means they weren't Israelites.
Right.
When you look at King David's men, some of his mighty men, the ones that was like his special forces, them jokers wasn't Israelites. They was some other peoples. But they was his special forces. And they would kill for him faster than most of the Israelites would. They're the ones that stuck with him better than his own people when his son was on that mess. And trying to do a coup d'etat on his kingdom.
Right.
So again, everybody that smiled at your face at the table ain't there for you.
Right.
I've had a few Gentiles that did more for me than my own people. And you remember, I told you, me and you, we had the same thing where I used to hate them. I'm telling myself, I was military. I hated them. But y'all taught me to love. Because y'all said, how you going to sit at my table when you can't love everybody that I'm going to allow to sit there?
Right.
Y'all with me?
Yeah.
Next thing, who else got to sit at the table? Well, he didn't get to sit there. Lazarus. Y'all remember the rich man and the poor man parable? The rich man did old Lazarus. He did him dirty, didn't he? He did him so dirty that the dogs showed more compassion on him. No, you can't. You couldn't even give him no scraps. But what did the dogs do? They show compassion by what? Licking his sores. This man came to the table uninvited. Like, I just want some scraps. No, you can't even have my scraps.
Right.
And anybody know about dogs? Dogs, if they see that you're hurt, they feel you're hurt, they'll come to you and they'll try to make it better. And people don't realize that actually their tongue, it actually has some healing type stuff on it. Sometimes when an animal licks on you, sometimes it actually can heal the wound. Of course, it's the same beings that eat their own vomit stuff too.
Everything.
But the thing is, they show more compassion. A dog showed more compassion to him than his fellow Israelite. And so that also shows us that we have times where people aren't allowed to sit at their table. And somebody that you wouldn't expect will come and try to heal you, will try to comfort you. And say, you know what? You always have a place at my table in the right way. Is that good to you? It better be. And that also shows us, and thank you, Father, that also showed me that's kind of like how it is in organized religion, our church. Where people come, but they don't let you sit at their table. That's where we got the clicks.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, I'll give you the little good old gospel hug, a little patch on your back. Make sure we have that like that space in between.
I'm praying for you.
Yeah, I'm praying for you. Oh, I love you. I just love you. You call me, but you can't sit at my table.
Right.
You can't sup with me. You can't plan with me.
Absolutely.
I don't want to deal with you. I don't want you to eat. I'm just about me. I don't want you to eat. And so then we have people that might not really be in an understanding of the script, but they show more compassion and say, I see you. I see you hurting.
Mm-hmm.
I see you hungry. I see you downtrodden, you down and out. So what am I going to do? Again, you have a place at my table. Those friends eating at your table also plot on you. Remember that song by TLC, What About Your Friends? Your friends, not your enemies, not the people that let you know from the jump, I hate you. No, it's the people that call themselves your friends. They will plot against you at the table as well. And that's in Psalm 41 and 9. Also in Luke 22:21. Let's go to Psalm 41 and 9 real quick. So like my dad used to say, is that all right to you? Psalm 41 and 9. Even my own friend, come on, King David, don't tell on him, in whom I trusted, who ate my bread, has lifted up his heel against me. Is that really your friend?
No.
Come on, Luke 22 and 21. Talk about Yehuda, you know it's Judas. What did the Mashiach say? Y'all sitting at my table, I'm feeding y'all. Luke 22 verse 21. And he said what? Somebody in here will betray me.
Yes. Yep.
Somebody turning their back on me. Who is it? The one that dipped his hand in the bowl with me. Why they say, is it I? Because everybody dipped their hand in the bowl. But he was letting the one that was the best of, he's letting them know, I know it was you. I know it was you. What you must do it quickly. I ain't going to trick off on you. The weed tricked off on his friend. He wanted him to know, hey, the very person that ate my food plotting on me. But Michelle was like, cuz this has to be done. Just because you open your table to everybody and they eat don't mean that they're happy for you.
Yep.
Don't mean that they're grateful and they're thankful. Because what does a snake do? Even if you warm that joker up, when it gets good and warm and it gets ready, it's going to do what? Bite you. And if it's big enough, it's going to wrap around you and eat you.
Wow.
That's why you got to really know who is really your friend. That's why I like what the scripture said, there is not a friend like the lowly Mashiach. And then the songwriter said, no, not one. Also, I like this one because we talking about Esau now. And remember, Esau ain't just one group of people. It's a whole bunch of people that's come together because his seed is in a whole bunch of people. Now, Esau's confederates, as his punishment for what he did, not helping his brother, us, the confederates that ate at his table are going to deceive and plot against him in the end. And Esau or Edom will be no more. They're going to be wiped off as a nation in the end. And you find that in you find that in Obadiah. Verse 6 and 9 ain't no chapters because it's just one book. That's one of the quote-unquote minor prophets. Obadiah, or Obadiah, verses 6 through 9. The disciples were welcome at Yehoshua's table, as I told you before. Lazarus. Now, this is a different Lazarus. Remember the one that died and he resurrected him? That Lazarus got to sit at this table too. So what does that show us? That when we die to ourselves,
yes,
and we get what? Reborn through being repentant. then we can be resurrected. So the thing is, when we're actually resurrected through what he's done for us, then we have a seat at his table. What did he say when he ascended? And lo, I'll be with you always, even to the end of time, and I'm going to a place. I got to go to do what? Prepare a place for you. And where I am, you may be also. So what was he doing? He prepared the table. He did the spread ready for all of us. Because what did he tell his disciples? His little redeemed. He said that I'm eating this with you right now because we ain't going to chill together like this again at the table until the kingdom has been fulfilled. Until I come back for you. Come back with my bride. We could go into the whole ketubah thing, but we ain't going to go into the marriage thing tonight. We got to get the other stuff together. No time's a little short, y'all. Y'all know, yeah. But see, that's going to make y'all want to be like, oh, yeah, more right. Like, nope. Again, remember I told you, you can't eat at everybody's table. Now I'm going to show y'all the scripture where I got that from. You can't eat at everybody's table. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 21. And while you're there, I'm glad you asked me to read it, even though you didn't, but I'm going to do it anyway. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 21. And it reads, you are not able to drink the cup of the master and the cup of demons. You are not able to partake of the table of the master and of the table of demons. How you going to eat at y'all's table and then you're going to go over to the demon's house and eat at the demon's table? You can't eat everybody's food, y'all. You can't eat at everybody's table. Because everybody ain't preparing love. You remember when you could tell when somebody cooked with love.
Yeah.
I'd be like, man, that was so good you put your what? Your foot in it. Means you put a piece of you in this, so I know that this is good. Now, she probably going to say, well, I ain't going to eat nothing now if they say you put your foot. I don't know. I'm starting to taste the toe now. I'm tasting the toe. I don't want to eat that. It got good to her. We already talked about the table of showbread, so we know that that's dealing with fellowship. Sure didn't get it together. But do y'all still see about the whole table thing? All right, now we're about to go a little bit further. You look at verse 2. In Psalm 23, it says, he makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. Remember when we were doing testimony time and what somebody said talk about the still water? Now, this still water is different. Because this still water in Hebrew, the word is Menucha. Menucha, and it is spelled Menuchah. Menuchah. Menucha. Strong's number is 4496. And when it's talking about this still water, what it's saying is resting water. Comforting, quiet water, resting place. So when the writer of the weed started off with, Yah's my shepherd, I ain't got to want for nothing. Next thing is he makes me to lie down in a resting place, in a quiet place. Don't we need quiet places and resting places in our life? What do you think Shabbat is?
Right.
It's a quiet place.
Yes.
It's a resting place. Why? Because he is our shepherd. He said, you do this. This is for you. To do what? Sup with me, because this is Father's Day. Every Shabbat is what? Father's Day, because you get to sit and spend time with who? Your Father.
Yeah.
He said, if I rested on the seventh day, you my kids, you rest on the seventh day. Quiet place. To do what? Get all the troubles of the world off your mind. You ain't got to be thinking about school, work, none of that stuff. What you want to eat, what you want to drink, all that stuff. Because what? That's supposed to be planned ahead of time. He provides for us, but when we sit at his table, we know what it is that we got to do to please him, how we're supposed to live. And so what? I'm able to rest because I'm doing what he said. I'm happy when I do what he said. Happy is the man that does what? Trust in who? In McDonald's?
No.
In CBS? In the club? Happy is the man that does what? Trust in him. He will lead you beside the quiet place, the resting place. Let's go to verse 4. When I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, sound like a rap, don't it? Somebody said it in a rap. I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they cover me. Now, King Dewey was a poet. I'm a poet, so I like the poetry. But he was saying something that we're about to get into and get a little deeper. Y'all go with me and see if y'all looked at it that way once I give it to you. In verse 4, we are told, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, so I gotta say it again. The word for the shadow of death is Salmavet, spelled Tsalmaveth. Salmavet. And y'all remember Maveth was one of the unclean spirits that we had to cast out. Somebody in here. Because Maveth means death in Hebrew. And what does the enemy want to do?
Kill.
And when you sit at a table that wasn't appointed by Yah, what happens?
Death.
Death. Salmavet means the shadow of death. Now the next word from Salmavet, the word Sal or Sel, spelled Tsel. Let me give you the Strong's number for Salmavet. That's 6757. I know one of the people is going to ask me, what about my Strong's number though? The next one, Sel, the Strong's number is 6738. And that means defense or shade. Defense or shade. So when he's talking about walking through the valley of the shadow of death, he said the shadow of death is actually death's fortification. It's death's protector. Now, why does death need a protector? What does death need to be fortified against? Life. Because what kills death? Life. What do Yahushua say? I came that you may have what?
Life.
And have it what? So death knows that. Death hears that. And so death is pumped out by life. So death wants to get you and kill you while you're young before you realize life.
Yeah.
Because when you've actually experienced life, you fight for it. You're not willing to give it up. You ain't going to be suicidal in the natural or the spiritual or emotionally. Because what? You know the value. People are taking people's lives because they don't know the value of life.
Right.
Death lies to you because what? It's fortifying itself. We're called fortified spirit because we fight against death. We fight against the principalities. We fight against all unclean things. We fight against Satan's gang.
Yes. His minions.
And y'all know we do it here. We've done it many times. And we get better at it the more we do it. And we learn more things about our enemy, and he learns more things about us. But we're going to fight him. I will fight you. I never lost my fight. When I was out the world, I fought everybody when there wasn't no reason to fight. I had to be like Miss Sophia all my life. And I didn't have to fight. I chose to. Because I like it. I like war. But y'all put that in me because what? What we're coming up against, we can't have no punks. You need to know that death is real. Death is stronger. Life is stronger. That's why we can say greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world, because I got life in me.
Yes.
He came that I may have it. And so death is afraid. So that's why when we actually are walking around in the newness of life, death is side-eyeing us. Death is looking like, man, I know they see me. They coming for me today. Are they going to roll up on me? Especially when you remember that death was like, I'm coming to get you. And they was pimp slapping the mess out of you and doing all types of stuff to you. And you finally get that glow.
Yes. So
you get strong. You're like, oh, I learned something now. I got some spiritual martial arts. I learned something now. Roll up on me now. Come on, Dad. Oh, come on. Roll up on me now. He said, though I walk through the valley, the lowest point, the deepest point of death. I ain't going on the surface point. I'm going to the depths of it. I'm going to where his strength is, because the strength is inside. You ever heard of inner strength?
Yes.
I'm going low. I'm getting deep in his valley, in his fortress. Quiet down, children. In his fortress. And you know what? I ain't no punk. Because what do you think he was saying when he said, and I will fear what? No evil, right? So if he said, I'm going to death's door, basically, I'm walking up to your fortress. In the depths of your fortress, and I ain't no punk, I ain't afraid of you. I fear no evil. But yeah, he just gonna walk around the way. You know, when we was out there, well, I don't know if y'all was out the street, but I was out the street. And we was like, what? Well, I didn't do that. I was just roll up on you and let you know. I was like, I don't talk. I didn't talk. You knew what I was about because you felt it.
They thought I would come.
But basically, he walked in there and said, I ain't. You know when you walk in confidence,
yeah.
You know your enemy around and you say, what? I wish a Hebrew could, we can't say another word. I wish a Hebrew would. Mm-hmm. You know, there's Gentiles like, I hope it doesn't happen. I don't want it. And we like, man, I wish a ninja would. I'll please do it. Please. So the weed was saying, come on, Death. Come at me. I'm not afraid of you. But Death knows that you got life. Nobody ever thought that Death needed a protector. You just looking at Death. Death is all bad and big and bad, but Death needs a protector. The shadow of Death. Death is saying, hide me. Y'all look at the end when people are wanting to die, when crazy things come in Revelation, what Psalms talking about, Revelation talking about, and they're going to be begging for death. And they said death is going to what? Run from whoever thought death was run from you. Said death is going to hide itself. You want to die, and death is like, not today, buddy. But the thing is, we don't have to wait for that. Death runs from us now. When we fought death, to cast out one of the sisters, we weren't afraid of it. Yah had told me through the Ruach HaKodesh was there, and I called that joker out, and it was trying to hide. It was running. Now, it wasn't running from me. It was running from my assignment. My assignment was to kick it out. But Yah gave me life by me knowing what my assignment was, and that's why I knew it was because I sat at this table. Yeah. He prepared a place for Carlton, and Carlton sat down, and when I ate that food, I was like, oh, I got strong.
Yes. Hallelujah. You
strengthen what you feed. Yes. I strengthened the life that was in me.
Yes.
And my life liked it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, oh, you shouldn't have gave me this.
Yes. I'm
about to act all the way out.
Hallelujah. Yes.
Oh, death is in there? Oh, let me show him life. Let me brass knuck him with life real quick. Let me gut punch him. Let me throw punch him. Let me power drive him with life real quick. Yes. So you need to be strengthened right now, realizing that death is afraid of you. Death is afraid of the life that's in you. So don't let it go soon. But remember that it fortifies itself. And again, what did the Mashiach say? I came that you may have life. So you realize I got victory. Because what did it also show them? What did the Mashiach do? He died, he was dead for 3 days and 3 nights, right? But what was he doing? He was going in the valley of the shadow of death. That's why he came up and said, death, where is your sting? Grave, where is your victory? He pumped it out with what? Life. Because he was just sleeping. His body was just sleeping here, but he was still doing stuff. And pumped death out with what? With life. So when you look at it, we already know that death is the Hebrew word is Mavet, and Strong's number is 4194. Mavet for death. It said death knows when you walk with and in life, and that you are willing to fight against it. Then we look at his rod and his staff. His rod, the Hebrew word is Shabbat. It's spelled S-H-E-B-E-T. Shabbat. Strong 7626. What Shabbat means is scepter, tribe. Oh, look at that. Spears and correct. And what he said in his staff, the word, Hebrew word for staff is Mishenah. Mishenah. And it's M-I-S-H apostrophe, then the E-N-A-H. M-I-S-H apostrophe E-N-A-H. Mishenah. And the Strong's number is 4938. And the staff, the definition of staff is staff, support, walking stick, and comfort. So when he said his rod and his staff are coming, he said his scepter, his spear, his correction, his tribe, and his support, his walking stick, his comfort shall follow me. shall follow me. Now we get to the table part. And then we're going to let it go. You spread before me a table in the face of my enemies. You have anointed my head with oil. My cup does what? My cup runs over. That's when you're talking that talk. My cup runs over. All right? We're about to let it go a little bit, but I got to give y'all this real quick. Make sure I got all my notes together. Because I want y'all to get all of it. First off, we need to realize that there are people sitting at tables today that's planning on us. They've been planning our lives. How do you think we got the stuff with BET? How do you think we got the stuff with gangster rap? You remember what we used to have when hip-hop first started out? Now, granted, it was still in the wrong spirit. But how do we go from, you remember the song Self-Destruction? You're headed for self-destruction. And they was talking about all the different ills of the world and us trying to come out. How do we go from getting some type, you remember, poor righteous teachers, Tribe Called Quest, all these different people, to all of a sudden we get, I shot him in the head, I killed my grandma, I did all these different things. All the women is bees and hoes. It's all about making this money. How do we go from some type of positive message to kill, 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 sex, 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 drugs, drugs, drugs? Because somebody planned that. They said, oh, no, they're getting some type of education. We got to bring, and then who came in? NWA. Ice-T. All these other cats came into play, and then what? You start seeing the music shift from positive to death. They moved us from a different table to the death table. Look at all the video games. You know, R&B, yes, back in the day, they were saying some slick stuff when you really listen to it now. But now it's just basically a manual for how to get STDs, how to get pregnant, and then to go ahead and get an abortion. What do? They moved us from one table, talking about love. At least you got something about love, and I miss you, and then all that other stuff, to let's just do this. This is what you're good for. So let's just get off and call it one. Somebody planned that. And all these plans, it was for us, but do you see that the plans that they did to us, it started trickling over and it started happening to their kids? Because what do their children listen to? And what do you say? I will bless those that bless you, and I will curse those that curse you. Y'all better be looking. Prophecy is being fulfilled for us every day. There's over 3,000 people that just died from the flu. But they're not vaccinated. How do they still die from it? There's famines going on in this country right now. The media is not talking about it. Again, remember I told y'all the Caucasian Gentile epidemic of death that's happening here? Also with the opioid? Jokers, you ain't never seen none of us in cars laid out with our kids tethered in the back seat. Now, what our mothers did was they sold their kids for some coke, some cocaine, some crack, or did favors, we'll call it. But you ain't see them getting high right there with their kid in a car seat in the back. Gone. Their birth rate is declining. You see what happens when you plan against us? Yes, we got what we got because we moved from his table, but you went to a table, and what do they always do? They fought to keep us from having a seat at their table, right? Mad because you wanted equal rights. Mad because you would say, I'm tired of being treated like less than. That's why they was walking around with signs that said, I am a man. That lets you know the degradation that somebody got to go through when they got to hold a sign to basically say, I am human. Why? Because we wasn't allowed a seat at the table. They planned our life. It was always keep us lower than them. You look at it in sports. They do the same thing. They come together. They initiate plans for you or against you. They decide who they want, who they don't want, what they expect from you. And then they make you sign a covenant. Is what a contract / agreement really is you sign the covenant. Everybody that signed a contract with music, it says on there, the writing actually said, this is a covenant. Why do you think them jokers go crazy? Because they have to sell their soul over, basically. They sell pieces of themselves when they sign that covenant. And then the ones that really want to get into it, they sign it in their own blood. Because what does a covenant always require? A sacrifice. Y'all need to get it. Somebody is plotting right now. Somebody's planning your life right now. Y'all's planning it. But your enemies, the ones that King DeWee was letting us know, we're going to have a table of our own, VIP table, in their presence. And so the thing is, we don't need to want to sit at their table. I don't care to sit at your table. I got my own table. And my table is better than yours. And my table got a better spread than yours because my father gave me this table. My father is letting me sit across from you so I can watch you plot on me and sit up there and eat my food and smile. There ain't no fleas on me. Not only do I get to sit across from you, but remember again, I told you also said it means in front. So we went from sitting at the back table to I'm sitting in the front where everybody can see. I told y'all, Yisrael has got the front table. Even in our captivity, we have the front table because again, who is everybody talking about in the world? Especially now that we're waking up, you know, they're really talking out like these niggas waking up. What are we going to do? Because they know that once we wake up, the next thing is here comes 2 Chronicles 7:14, and then they know what's going to happen. He's like, I just want you to raise your hand and wait for the waiter to come. Let me know that you need to get your glass filled. Let me know you're ready for the appetizer. Let me know you're ready for the main course. Let me know you want your dessert. Come here, little Gentiles. Come here, everybody that plotted against my people. Read Yoel, the prophet Yoel or Joel, chapter 3, and see what's going to happen to him. It's talking about, he said, I'm going to gather all the nations together and plead for my people. Yesterday they went away from my table, but they're coming back and you trying to keep them from getting to the head table. So now I put my hands on you. Because you put your hands on my kid. The people that said they got kids. If somebody put their hands on their kids, y'all kids is basically my kids now. And you know how you get about your children, right? We got a sister right here. She don't have kids. Whenever she loves kids so much, you just start talking about something having kids. She probably she get that warrior princess thing going on as well. And she's like, I'm meek one minute, but now the lion is coming out. Why? Because you touch the children. If she finds out that the child is starving, you won't let them sit at your table? It's going to go all the way bad for you.
All the way.
Because what? They deserve a seat at the table. Why does everybody always want to sit at the table? People always sit, remember when we was kids and we had a little kids table? We always want to sit with the grown-ups because like they're doing something. If I can sit at the grown-ups table, that means I belong. That means I'm older. That means that I got prestige. All these different things. And so what we was always doing, we was vying for that table. Us as Israelites, we've been trying to get a seat at that table since they brought us here. They'll let some of us, the talented tip, get some table scraps, but they got to screw the rest of us over in order to get that.
Right.
That's all your boule people, all the people that's in your frats and your sororities. Yes, I'm talking about y'all. The people that's in the Masonic and the Temple and all that other stuff, I'm talking about y'all too. You got to get in and crawl down just so you can lick up the table scraps, but you got to turn your people away. You got to do different things against your people to make sure that they don't sit at the table. Because again, the enemy don't want us to rise up. But he had to get us away from the table by us taking ourselves away. He couldn't take us away. Y'all still with me? Mm-hmm. The people at the table are the ones, the movers and shakers, the ones, the decision makers. Why do you think everyone is looking again for a seat at the table? Why do you think they're at the table only when certain people are there? Or that they only want certain people at the table? Mm-hmm. And none of the people look like us, especially at that high table. Mm-hmm. Y'all don't know it right now, but it's been happening for centuries. There's demons. There's 9 demons, 9-head demons that come to the 13 heads that control the whole entire world. The 13 families, bloodline families that are linked with Satan. He has 9 demonic presences or principalities that come and speak to all of them to tell them his plans for the world. His plan, and the majority of his plans is against who? And ways to keep us down, ways to kill. He knows he can't kill us all, but ways to exterminate us slowly. Because he's still going to try, because he knows as long as we're here, as long as there's any glimmer of light, as long as there's any glimmer of light, what did I already tell y'all? Death needs a protector. Death needs a bodyguard. Who would think death needs a bodyguard? Again, why does death need a bodyguard? Because life is coming. And life don't play that. Especially when y'all said through his son, I came that you may have it. Yeah. Death was never his will. Death had to sneak in the garden. You see, death wasn't strong. Anybody that got the wheel their way in is a problem.
Right.
If I got the juice, I'm going to take it straight up. You know what you going to do?
Right.
Y'all see how strong life? Y'all need to realize how powerful life is. People who want to see are saying, I want the ability to negotiate. I want you to consider it. You see a lot of wives, they don't even have a seat at their own table in their house. And I know y'all don't like it. I don't care. They can't speak up. They can't negotiate. They can't have what? Their voice be heard. She can fix the table. She can put things on the table. But she can't sit at the table. Sounds like slavery to me. Because did not we do the same thing? And she's like, I can see it. I'm living there. I'm able to put things on it. I can touch it. But I can't sit. And when you realize that no matter what you do, you'll never be able to have a seat at the table. You die. And you see them. They walk around shells. You look in their eyes and you see no life. You see despair. You see distress. You know how many wives we found out was about to commit suicide? You know how many daughters of Israel, daughters of Zion, is about to off themselves? Why? Because they can't sit at the table. And Yah said, I'm going to prepare a table for you in the presence of your enemies. So not just us as a nation, but even look at the daughters of Zion. He's going to prepare a place. Hold on, sisters. He's going to prepare. And then sometimes the enemy is in your house. Sometimes you sleep with the enemy. And there's some men that ain't able to be heard and can't sit at the table in their own house. It's for you too, brothers. It's for everybody, anybody that's being downtrodden and kept from being able to go negotiate, kept from being able to be considered. Because when you sit at the table, my voice is considered because I can say something. Can a waiter say something at your table? No. They have to ask you what you want. They have to bring you. They have to do what? Do whatever you want to make you happy. But a person that sits at the table, when I'm a patron at the table, I say, I want this. I don't want that. And because I'm at the table, you got to listen. You got to consider me. And then we'll get a vote. If you want my vote, you got to hear me. Is that what? I know it touched somebody. Is y'all still with me? We're about to let it go. But did that speak to you? I want to be heard. I want to be heard. That's why I want to get to the table. That's why Israel's been fighting so hard to get at the table. But fret not, y'all. We got our own table. Our table was dipped in gold, just like the showbread, the table the showbread was. Because we are always in his presence. He said, I will always, you will always be before my face. That's why we had the 12 stones on the ephod, and we had the 6 stones on one shoulder, the shoham stone, and then the 6 names on one shoulder, 6 names on the other shoulder. He could look down, he said, you will always be on my mind. You will always have a seat at my table. You left it, but I want you to come back. That's why he's saying, come back to me. Repent, because I'm coming back. What did Mashiach again say? I go to prepare what? A place for you. What was he saying? I'm going to make a table for you. So we can eat together again. We can play together. We can talk together. We can enjoy each other's company again. I go to do this. Yisrael is meant to sit at the table. Although our enemies don't want us to do that, there's a reason that they don't want us to sit at the table. 1, because they despise us, they hate us. 2, because they plan to conspire against us. Again, we see in Tehillim 83 and 3, we're almost done, y'all. 3 is they want to hide the truth. Why do you want to hide the truth? The best way to hide the truth is keep me from being at the table to hear what you're saying. But when we got our special table, I can sit across and watch you. I can see your plans and say, ain't going to happen. They don't want accountability. That's another reason why when I was talking about why a husband don't want the wife to sit at the table, because she can't hold him accountable if she don't know.
Right.
She don't know what's happening with the money. She don't know what's happening with all this other stuff. Can't ask him why he doing this, why he doing that. Because you don't know. You can't hold we're supposed to hold each other accountable because two become what? One. So if you're at my hip, the rib is back in my chest. It know what I'm doing and know what I'm feeling. And know when I'm alive and when I'm dead. Because what? It's right there. Like, I can't quit you, literally, because if I quit you, I'm dead because you're a part of me. You helping me to live. Next thing is they want to protect the integrity of the table. They feel that I'm protecting the integrity by keeping you out. 6 is they feel you have no right. How y'all feel? I'll tell you, you ain't got a right to the table. You can bring stuff.
Wow.
I'll allow you to do things for me.
Wow.
But you can't sit at my table. Like, y'all come and fix this nice spread that we're about to enjoy in a few minutes, because I'm about to let her go because it's no good. And I say, bring all the stuff, but you got to sit on the floor. I'm at that whole table to myself. Or I'm going to call some other people that y'all don't know and say, y'all sit at this table with me.
Right.
All y'all sit down there. How many more times do you think y'all going to come back? And if you do come back, you're going to come back empty-handed. Not only does he give us our own table in the presence, in front, or the opposite side of our enemy, and that word is neged. 5048 is a Strong's number. Neged is spelled N-E-G-E-D. We're about to wrap it up. Y'all give me like 2 minutes. Neged, N-E-G-E-D. 5048 in Strong's said, in the presence of my enemies. Again, in front of them and opposite of them. And then the next word I want to give y'all is sarar. T-S-A-R-A-R. T-S-A-R-A-R. Sarar. Strong's number is 6887. That means adversary, affliction, and oppressor. So I'm going to put you in front opposite of your oppressor, your adversary, the one that has afflicted you. Mm-hmm. But look at this. Not only am I going to put you there, but he said, I'm going to anoint your head. Mm-hmm. And the Hebrew word for anoint, because y'all know I had to give y'all that, is dashen. D-A-S-H-E-N. Dashen. Strong's number is 1878. Dashen, 1878. And that means make fat, prosperous, acceptable, take away ashes. So I'm going to anoint, when he said I'm going to anoint you, I'm going to make you fat, I'm going to make you prosperous. I'm going to make you acceptable. I'm going to take away your ashes. And then that reminded me of in the book of Isaiah, the 61st chapter, verses 1 through 11. I'm not going to read that. I did want to have a read, but y'all read that when y'all get home tonight. Isaiah 61, verse 1 through 11. And in there, in one of the scriptures, it says that I will give you beauty for ashes. And he was talking to who? Us. I will give you beauty. I will make you acceptable by anointing you. So I know that y'all, what we do in mourning, we put on sackcloth and what? Ashes. We ain't got to wear that, and we ain't got to wear the mourning clothes no more. Our women no longer have to be the wailing women lamenting no more. We don't have to have professional wailers no more because what? He's going to give us beauty for ashes. When I anoint or dashen your head with oil, I'm going to make you prosperous. You're going to be prosperous again. You're going to be acceptable what? In my sight. One of the things we always asking about. I cried the other night when I was watching the 13th again. My wife comforted me. Big old strong crowd to need to get comforted by his wife.
Okay.
But I was having tears. Because just looking at the plight of my people, and I just kept on telling her, I was like, we're beautiful. And I was asking Yah, I was like, why? I know why, because we disobeyed by getting away from his table. But I'm just like, why? When I see what's happening to us, when I see that we don't have a seat at the table right now. Why? And I'm like, I got to help. I got to do. And it rose up in me again what he put in me for what I was called to do, what my mission is. I got to do it. And I was like, I got to save everybody. And she told me, she's like, you can't save everybody. It's not for your job to save everybody. I was like, but the ones I'm going to get, the ones that are meant for me to get, I'm going to get them. I got to get them. That's what the Shiloh Project is for. Got to get them. We're going to get them. Again, y'all got that scripture, right? Isaiah 61, 1 through 11. Mm-hmm. Read that. That's also dealing with the same scripture that the Mashiach read when he went into the temple when he started his ministry. That's the one where it said, the Spirit of Yah is upon me, for he has anointed me, he has dashained me to preach. He has made me prosperous, he's made me acceptable to what? To preach the gospel. To help those that are in need, to help those that don't have a place at the table. That's why I come. Again, that you may have life and have it more abundantly. So we're closing the book now. Y'all know what that means. And then, of course, he ends it with, surely goodness and loving commitment, they follow me all the days of my life, and I'll dwell in the house of Yah forever. And a house has a table, right? Every house has a table. So when I dwell in his house forever, I mean I get to sit at his table. So I ain't worried about your table, because my dad has one ready for me. Tables. Shalom.